guys. We just can't seem to catch a break. Got my keys, got the new insurance card. Let's go pay the Eclipse a visit. A couple weeks ago, my brother Jonathan was visiting. He's coming to say what's up, spend a few days with us, and have a good time. As it is known, he is the future inheritor of this car. We went out on a Chick-fil-A night. We were having a good time, and oh, can't get it unlocked. We had a mishap. Something went very wrong with the transmission. So while we were out, John and I were having a good time. We were driving the car. I wanted to show him the car and how it is right now, and things to expect in the future, and how to enjoy this car properly. And as we were driving, something really strange started to happen, made me nervous, and then we definitely confirmed it later on that something was extremely wrong. So we were driving, doing our thing, having a good time. We fixed our coolant gauge somehow, so like that was working, coolant was working fine. We weren't overheating anymore. And then, as I was driving, I was shifting. Okay, that's first. Now let's put it in second, right? Okay, that's odd. It's in second now. Okay, we go to third. Oh, there we go. Now we're in third. I'm gonna go into revert or fourth, and it sometimes catches, but it definitely wasn't while it was in motion. So, like, and you can't put it in fourth at all. It's straight up blocked out. Not fourth, but reverse. Like, it won't go into reverse whatsoever. It is entirely non-existent in the car now. So we basically had, while we were driving, the ability to go to first, over rev it into third, and then over rev it again into fifth, because that was the only options we had to drive the car back from Chick-fil-A. We rolled it into this spot, and it has been sitting here ever since. While it's really sad, frustrating, and unfortunate, we kind of had to face the facts that it's an older car, things are going to break, but these are parts that we don't want breaking, because it means that we have to do a lot of work to undo what had gone wrong. In our case, I think a couple of things that really exacerbated the issue was the fact that we don't have really good motor mounts in this car at all. As you can tell, the car's got some age on it, whatever. But like the motor mounts underneath the battery, the ones that are sitting in front of the car, and the one that sits here on the side are very old. They show a lot of age, and more importantly, some of them actually have some separation and cracking. What I think ended up happening is because of that jostling back and forth, you know, going like this, I think that actually wore out the shifter fork, especially when you do it under load, under power, and it just bent the shifter fork for fourth and reverse. I think second falls into place because it's bent in just the right way to allow it to go into place. I don't really know at this point, but as it sits right now, that's where we're at. This poor beast has been sitting here for a couple of weeks now as a result of all this, and there's not a whole lot we can do to try and save it or fix it, because without reverse we can't go backwards, without fourth we can't really drive in a comfortable speed zone, so we're wearing out pistons and things that we don't need to, and more importantly having terrible fuel economy, and it's just kind of stuck. I'm gonna put it to you guys like this. I've done a lot of research. I've looked into a lot of different options. I've looked at numbers of sites, and even today went to a number of different junkyards in person, over the phone, online. No one's got a trans. They either want way too much for the transmission, or they physically do not have any transmissions, either from Eclipse RSs and GSs of the second generation, or of the Dodge Neon that had that same motor setup. Nobody's got them. Can't find them, or they want like $1,000, which, let's be real, $1,000 for a transmission, if it were like an Evo or a CD09, that's not a bad deal. $1,000 for a front wheel drive transmission in a car that wasn't turbo, that is not a good deal. That's never going to be a good deal. Unless there were like fully built gears and stuff like that. It's just not worth it. But with all that said, and with talking with some of the guys in our group, we have decided we are gonna go ahead and Evo swap it. We're gonna take Miguel DSM's approach. We're actually gonna borrow his idea, and we're gonna do an Evo weight swap into the RS shell. We're even gonna keep it down to the specifics of using the 3G trans and everything else to keep it front wheel drive for now. Ultimately, because I will eventually give this car to my brother, I want this car to have a semblance of what it is now, but with a little more power, and set up in such a way so that it could be daily driven, it could be used properly and things like that, and more or less have it set up so that he can learn how to drive a manual on it if he wants it, things like that. So we're gonna start off easy, and then later on down the line, if we're gonna go full on all-wheel drive swap, then we'll address that stuff later. So real quick, one last thing before we close this video, I want to address two things. One is the memorandum that I put out a couple of weeks ago, and the other is something that I'm gonna do right here, right now, as we're sitting here talking. So the memorandum I put out was talking about how we wouldn't have the Evo back for a little bit longer. And I know that we have said repeatedly that's gonna come back to the channel and things like that. And it is. We've shown it a little bit here and there. But we found out that some things had happened, and COVID is now the reason for why the car in question hasn't made a return. Some of the places that we're getting parts from, unfortunately, had COVID outbreaks, so they had to go under lockdown. So right now, we're hoping that here in late August, we will be able to get the parts for that delivered to us. But as of right now, they're on a very tight, restricted schedule. So we're just stuck. We're hoping to get stuff rolling there, but push comes to shove, if we can't do it right now, we can't do it right now. We just gotta be patient and let it happen as it happens. The other major announcement that I've been kind of delaying saying anything here on the channel about, we're gonna go ahead and put in our reserve for a Ford Bronco. We are actually gonna go ahead and get ourselves reserved for a 4-door antimatter blue Outer Banks edition. I have looked over this vehicle multiple times, and after some major assessment, I recognize and I realize that the RAV has been a very good car to me over the last year and 3 months. But for me to move forward and to start making more responsible decisions with my own personal, like, everyday life, not just with the race car stuff, but with, you know, trying to move forward. If I end up getting married in the future, stuff like that, I want to have a more capable SUV, one that I can tow with in regards to the race cars, you know, one that I can tow with, has a fresher warranty, has less miles on it, and will actually get better MPG than my XLE RAV4 does right now, which is what has pushed me to make the decision to go ahead, get myself reserved for a 2021 Ford Bronco Outer Banks edition. Why the Outer Banks? I personally am a big fan of music and sound, so therefore I wanted one with the more premium sound options as well as the better interior. Will it be the one that I ultimately get in the end? We'll see what happens between now and then, because realistically, while the reserve might be for that model, I can change it to other things. I unfortunately cannot get a launch edition version because they sold out of both of those twice. So push comes to shove, it sucks that we can't do it, but I'm still getting a Bronco, and that's the cool thing about it all. Let's go meet the Bronco. There we go. Keep going. There it is. Look at that. Look at that. That's just clean. That's just real nice. All right, we're gonna swap that over to the 4-door. A little longer wheelbase, better for towing, better for snow. All right, review and reserve. Due to the high, look at this right here. Due to the high number of Bronco 2 and 4-door reservations, deliveries may extend into the 2022 calendar year. Oh boy. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. We're committed. We have a reservation. Now we just gotta wait for our dealer to call us about placing the order, getting all of our trim options finalized. We're good to go. Like I said, I've always wanted to get into a more powerful vehicle than the RAV4 already was. So for me, the Bronco is a good way to do that. Ford, if you're watching, please help me move my reservation up. I know I didn't put my reservation in there, but it would be awesome to get it sooner than later, because your boy needs a more powerful truck that's not going to need a lot of work in the very near future, like my RAV currently is about to. Like, it already needs brakes. The TPMS just went off, which means I'm probably going to need tires soon. Things happen when you buy used vehicles. It's just a thing. But anyways, thank you all for tuning in and checking out this both depressing yet very exciting adventure that we're on here on this channel. I hope you guys are ready to see what comes next. I myself am very excited about doing the Bronco, but I also know that this Evo swap is going to be legit as well. All we need now is just a garage and a house and a place to do all this stuff in that can fit everything, and we won't have to worry about putting our tools away every time. Hopefully that'll happen this season as well. But with that said, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Like and sub if you haven't already so you can keep up on everything we got going on in the background. And we'll see you next time. God bless and peace. Downforce. All the downforce. Oh yeah, McLaren was in development for this car, specifically just this car. Yeah. No. Sorry, she wrote, you're not that cool yet.